Aha, we are live.
We
David
are
Porter.
live.
How are you,
Porter
Bruce Porter
Brothers.
Jr.?
David Porter, how are you, sir?
Fantastic. Doing well. All is good for me, thank God. And craziness going on, though, huh? How are you?
I'm doing great. It is crazy right now. As 6 hours from our morning show, right? And it's like the world, it's all happening so fast. I mean, just hot in off the press here, we have it looks like more than likely Iran is again hitting Iraq in these positions. Of course, Iran is saying that these are Mossad positions, probably U.S. positions as well. But that is just heating up over there. I mean, it's really heating up. It's playing heck with the markets too. Nobody
Yeah.
likes to see all of that stuff, and a lot of people are dying, and that's one of the things I said earlier was that I felt there was a point when I felt the change of the vibrations.
Oh, man. Yeah. You've
And
always
I
been a little sensitive to these type of things. It's one of your abilities or your talents or something like that, you know?
a little sensitive. So anyway, so that's hot off the press. Of course, we have Iraq is getting bombed right now, probably by Iran. We had Pakistan, of course, bombed them back earlier in the last 24 hours. Iran bombed what they claimed were Mossad positions uh, in Pakistan, and then Pakistan almost immediately responded back. These explosions right now are in Erbil, Iraq. Erbil is kind of a known, I would say, headquarters or coordinating area for Mossad. I will say that. Israeli Defense Minister, Northern Front could get worse. They also pulled back. They pulled back 1,000 or a couple thousand, I think, troops as the world starts to really kind of hammer on them for, for what's going on. Really, just a disaster over there. There's no real quick end in sight either, and that's what the most worrisome thing about it is. Joe Biden and his clan of warmongers really like this setup that they have. And by the way, guys, if you do want to comment, to talk, we're live on TV in Texas, in Louisiana. You can call us. You can call in. You can also message on YouTube. We're live on also Crypto Cake YouTube, as well as Washington Elite. Live on Networks Manager, Twitter. We're live on my LinkedIn as well. Bruce Bruce Porter Jr. And there's our numbers right there. Feel free to call in or text us if you have any questions. We're covering this stuff live as it happens. X is one of those platforms where we're able to get real information, real time. I have been a fan of X from the beginning. I was one of the early guys working on the API way back when. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why I was able to keep my account a few times over the years, because it was a little dicey there at times. But and then, as you know, of course, I did get my account permanently banned there for a while. NAFO got mad at me. The North American Fellas Organization, which is a CIA front group by all appearances.
Yeah.
I got on one of my videos and I said, Ukraine is a money laundering operation. Which all wars are a money laundering operation. They're all money laundering operations. There's so much money in war. It's sad. There's so much money in war unless you tag it along with the amount of lives that you're taking. And then it is completely, the cost of war is just unbelievable. So Ken, if you do want to comment, you can go to the Crypto Cake YouTube, you can go to the Washington Elite YouTube, you can go to the Networks Manager Facebook, you can go to any of these other places. And that reminds me, we're also live on Modeling Agent Instagram. I just have to click live. You're supposed to remind me, David.
Right. It's funny, it gives you the green check mark.
It does?
Yeah. No. But it's not true, huh?
It's not true. It's not true. You have to do it. So crazy stuff. I put together, a pretty, I was just like, all right, let me get together a decent show here. A lot of stuff going on. Of course, we have Klaus Schwab. He is upset at this anti-system movement that's going on. He's upset at this anti-system movement that's happening here. I have him loaded up right here. Let me just share my screen. This is the world's foremost supervillain, Klaus Schwab. He is the head of the WEF. He is probably, well, I guess I won't go there. Some things I'll say, and then other things I won't say right now. Here he is right here. This is Klaus Schwab at the WEF, the World Economic Forum.
You have this anti-system movement. What we are seeing is a revolution against the system. So fixing the present system is not enough. Now there is, of course, an anti-system, which is called libertarianism, which means to tear down everything which creates some kind of influence of government into private lives. It's dismantling the system.
It's dismantling the system. Yeah, that's right, buddy. We're dismantling the system, okay? That's the plan. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to dismantle the system. Let's listen to this guy again.
You have this anti-system movement. What we are seeing is a revolution against the system. So fixing the present system is not enough. Now there is, of course, an anti-system, which is called libertarianism, which means to tear down everything which creates some kind of influence of government into private lives. It's dismantling the system.
It's dismantling the system. Great job, guys. You keep dismantling. You keep dismantling the system, okay? These guys are evil guys. I mean, this guy, all you have to do is listen to him, and he's got the supervillain down. I mean, you couldn't have created a better supervillain or cast a better supervillain than Klaus Schwab.
It's pretty classic. The way he thinks that the libertarians and the freedom seekers and the people that just want to live and let live. He really takes it to an extreme level that most people are not trying to go there. It's really just about being yourself, and most systems are appreciated. Like, people are for a bit of tax to build roads and other structures that we all need. I think most people are pretty well off with that. Yeah, it's pretty hysterical almost that he takes it there, that there's a movement to dismantle the system.
It is to dismantle a revolution. I think he called it a revolution or evolution, but he might have messed up his words. What he meant was there's a revolution against us. Yeah.
He's quite a character.
He really is, David. We're going to go. Of course, we've been supposed to go to the WF a number of times. It usually conflicts with something like the North American Bitcoin Conference, but they don't do that anymore, and a few other things for us. But probably we'll end up there. We'll act nice.
Yeah, of course. There's plenty of other business going on.
There is.
Besides the takeover of civilization.
The hostile takeover of the civilized world.
Yeah.
No, I mean, these guys are really out to lunch. I mean, here, let me play. This is another clip I have here. This is another one. They're doing a panel here, and they're talking about us eating bugs again. They want us to eat bugs. That's their thing. So funny. They want us to eat bugs.
Well, this was my thought yesterday, was that they do our pesticides to get rid of the bugs, but then now they're telling us that we're going to start eating bugs. So which one is it, guys? Which one?
Which one is it, right? You're like killing us one way or the other. I mean, it's like I'll queue up a video. There was a girl, she was like a TikToker or something, and she put on a video about this stuff, and how are we going to explain it to our kids? Well, kids, they were poisoning us in the food, and they were doing this and doing that. I mean, these people, this guy right here, these people, they want to reduce the population of the human race by like 2/3 or more. I mean, we're talking about billions and billions of people. Anyway, I have this queued up. This is them talking about the.
To come back to what Carlos said about agriculture. And this is, I think, really important to understand. And it's a little depressing, but I think if we don't understand it, we can't fix it. So in the case of agriculture, so we know, as you said, agriculture, particularly animal agriculture, is a major source of greenhouse gas emissions, a major driver of climate change. So one thing people can do to help in this case is to eat less meat. So what are we seeing happening in the United States? The agriculture industry is spreading disinformation. But here's where it gets particularly tricky. Not about climate change. They're spreading disinformation about the public health benefits of a plant-forward diet. So one of the great things about eating less red meat, and you don't have to eliminate it altogether, but just eating less, good for the planet and it's good for your body. So this is a win-win solution, and it's something that we all could do. We all have the power. We all have agency over what we eat. But there are researchers in the United States who work on the health benefits of a plant-based diet who have been attacked by the same people who attack climate scientists. Mm-hmm. So this isn't about public understanding science or not being transparent. This is about an organized attempt to confuse people.
To confuse people.
It really just makes you want to go have a steak.
I want to have a steak. I want to have a steak right now. I think it's a great idea. I'm going to go fire up some steaks. I'm going to give them to all the kids. I'm going to call the neighbors. I'm going to feed everybody steaks.
Remind people how good they feel after they have a nice steak.
The reason they don't want you eating steaks is because steaks make you feel good. They make you not complacent. They want you to eat other stuff.
Yeah. And I'm all for a good salad, but a good steak and salad. Now we're really talking.
Right? Steak and salad. We're talking. You're right. I'm all for a good salad too. I like salad, but guys, the reason they don't want you eating this stuff is because they don't want you strong. They don't want you strong enough to fight. It's all over, guys. There's no revolution. You can't revolt against the new world order.
Yeah, it's true. You have a steak and you go play some sports or go to the gym and you feel that difference. You feel great.
You feel great. And that's what it's all about. And that's why they don't want you eating that stuff. And they tell you, it's because of the cows farting.
Dude,
cows farting.
I mean, we're really getting out there with these persuasive tactics.
I mean, these people, they call us conspiracy theorists. So this is Ian Palmer. This is at CPAC. CPAC's coming up. CPAC will be at here in Washington, D.C. It's actually Baltimore Harbor, Maryland, right across the river from me. I'm not actually in the district either. That's where the commies are. I'm in Northern Virginia. But here is Ian, and he just shreds this whole thing apart about Ian Palmer, about this cow farting and all this
stuff. I have demonstrable facts. These facts are validated and these facts are repeatable. Fact number one, no one has ever shown that human emissions of carbon dioxide drive global warming. Never been shown.
And if it could be shown, then you would have to show that the 97% of emissions, which are natural, do not drive global warming. Game over. We are dealing with a fraud. It's a scientific fraud from day one. We hear the propaganda that increases of the gas of life, a trace gas in the atmosphere, will bring a disaster and that we will have runaway global warming. Sorry, folks, we've known for 200 years from chemistry that it's the exact inverse. Now, I'm sure some of you tried this last night at the dinner with a champagne or a beer and you forgot to drink it and it warmed up and it kept bubbling and bubbling and bubbling and bubbling. And that is the inverse solubility of carbon dioxide. We've known that for 200 years. We see it from the ice cores. When we drill into ice, we have chemical fingerprints that tell us what the temperature was, and we have little bits of trapped air. And we can show that when we had natural warming, some 650 to 6,000 years later, we had an increase in carbon dioxide. It's not carbon dioxide that drives temperature. It's the exact inverse. Another fraud.
It's crazy.
Fraud upon the people.
It's a fraud upon the people. And of course, whatever the TV tells everybody is what the large amount of them believe. I mean, of course, you guys, we're disseminating information on TV. It's true.
I was going to say, Texas, well, that's why we're on TV.
But now we're getting to a point where they'll let us on TV. They would never let guys like us on TV before now, right? You have to like it took
speak for yourself there, Bruce.
You had to have, X and these other platforms to go out and really show that there were alternative views. There was, and these things had validity. Okay, they have validity, and then of course now you have people like us that are able to be on there. So as you guys know, I'm sure you do know, we are early Bitcoin investors, early Bitcoiners. We got in Bitcoin when it was $70. It has been a revolution. It's a monetary revolution, as I always talk about. We have a number of ways. It's a monetary revolution that you can participate in the monetary revolution and fight back peacefully. Because let's face it, you look at what's going on over in the Middle East and you want to fight back peacefully. We don't want that war. Okay, we don't want all that bloodshed. But the way to fight back peacefully is to get out of the US dollar, not use their money, get into Bitcoin, get into Litecoin, get into Global Boost. Global Boost is a real blockchain that we started 10 years ago. And also get into gold and silver. And we put together a club for that. Didn't put it together ourselves, but at Cost Metals, at costmetals.com is the main site, at costmetals.club. And that puts you right into our referral link. And you can buy gold, silver, platinum, palladium at cost, at the dealer's cost. So not straight from the dealer, but actually at the cost that the dealer's getting it. And that stuff is super important because that is how we can fight back. That's how we can fight back to what is going on in our world. So the Illuminati had a plan. And they published this plan years ago. And I'm going to play this video here. This is obviously a rendition of it, but this was the plan of the three world wars. And this would be the third world war that we're in right now. Let me just cue this up, share my screen. And so this has been, the last 100 years has been predicted. And let's see here, the Illuminati.
Predicted 3 world wars. The First World War, he said, must be brought about, and I'm quoting from Albert Pike. The First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the czars in Russia and of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism. The divergences caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the British and German empires will be used to foment this war. He says, quote, the Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism will be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. He's now thinking about this Third World War, and it says that it will be caused by the differences between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. That's what it says. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion.
Crazy, right? And so there you go. That was 1871, and people say, "Oh, well, that's crazy. 1871, Zionism didn't exist, or this or that and the other." Well, guys, I have news for you. Yeah, it did. And actually, it's anyway. It's a prediction anyway. And so you look at what's going on right now, and that's the third World War, right? I mean, that looks like what we're starting into, and if hopefully, I don't think it's the end times. I don't think it's end times. Okay. But certainly I do think it's world war. We have now everybody's bombing everybody. Jordan bombed Iraq last night. You have Iran bombing Iraq. You have Iran bombing Pakistan. You have Pakistan bombing Iran. You have Israel bombing everybody. You have the U.S. along with Israel bombing everybody. Yemen. How long do you think it's going to be till we get hit over here, David?
We're pretty good, even though there's all these people coming inside the country. But we're following some of the hydrogen bombs and these type of things pretty closely. So I don't think it's gonna happen. Thank God.
I hope so. Yeah, God bless America. Everybody, you want to stay safe. You want to be smart. You want to, keep your family safe. There are a lot of people that have come in. I mean, you just talk about that Texas border since you mentioned it. I mean, what a mess that's going on over there, this Texas border. This, I aired this the other day on Money in the Morning, but this is a live shot, or was a live shot, I should say, of the border after the Texas National Guard took it over. So this is after they took it over, okay? And let me just share my screen here again. And you can see even still how porous it is. People are just coming in our border one by one. What a human disaster as well. Look at all those poor people. And it looks like once you're in, you're in.
We have all the equipment in the world, and we put a holy fence that even these people can just get through.
It's kind of like a joke, right? Like, I mean, I don't get it. Like, even having the National Guard there and putting that there, it's kind of like an insult to our intelligence. I mean, this is what a border wall looks like.
Yeah. Like, you're really going to have some guts to get over that thing. Or under it.
You have to be pretty stupid. That's what a border wall looks like. Not this nonsense that we have down at our southern border. I mean, it's just so porous. They're coming right through. I'll cue that up again just so we can just compare. Let's compare the two. Here we are side by side. This is the U.S. border, the foremost world power.
I mean, our poor men in uniform being told not to do anything.
I mean, you see the guy's frustration as he just points her over, right? And then a real border. This is Israel's border, by the way, or it's Egypt's border. I guess don't quote me on it. Either Israel's or Egypt's border. I'll tell you what, guys. With this border, if this is our border, and as we were talking about on the show this morning, David, the the UN owns a lot of this property.
Exactly.
So the UN owns the property. I just muted that so we can talk better. And now, of course, you have the National Guard there. Of course, Joe Biden sends him a cease and desist, like let our guys in, because of course the National Guard kicked him out, and Attorney General Paxton responded that they were not stopping. Don't come down here anymore, and I'll handle the legal stuff, and the governor with the National Guard is going to handle the other stuff.
Oh wow,
it's an absolute disaster. And anytime you have these armed factions, Joe, I feel like once you're bombing a bunch of people and you're killing a bunch of people, it's a lot easier to kill some more people.
Well, that's what I had to explain to somebody the other day. I said, as long as some of these guys make it through the next election cycle or into their whatever they're running for, and they don't get off, and he said, would they really do that? I'm like, are you kidding me? We're at years of this stuff. What's one more?
We're at years of this stuff. We're at war. Obama dropped like a bomb every 20 minutes or something ridiculous.
Yeah, and then left the last couple days on carpet bombs. So that was like insane.
It was insane. And of course, Hillary with her leaving all the guys over in Libya, right? Craziness. I have queued up here. This is Nick Spanos. Nick Spanos has been leading the revolution, the monetary revolution, longer than I have, longer than David and I have. He is talking just real quick here about our liberties and how our liberties have been basically just being chipped away.
Because now, people that have been around knew how free we were in the beginning, and as every day goes by, all our liberties are being assaulted, and Lady Liberty is being assaulted. And it's not just crypto, but
everything.
Where if we don't free ourselves with a decentralized, permissionless blockchain, they're going to imprison us with a centralized permission one. We have to do something, and if we don't do something, they're doing things. But we're saying, we're going to hodl. We got to give some of those things we're hodling to the politicians so they like us. They don't care. They just like money. So money. Every 2 years, they got to run for office. Every 2 years.
Mm-hmm. So, since we're on that subject, go ahead. What were you going
to say? Every 2 years, they got to run for office, and they don't care about anything, pretty regardless of life, and all they care about is money and being in a position to issue some power. And I was remembering what did Hillary said after that one episode. What does it matter anymore?
Right.
After several lives were lost.
Not even it's just it was really, what does it matter anymore, or whatever she said. It was something almost exactly like that. It was really stark. Like, it doesn't matter, they're already gone. And I think that, our government right now, as far as we're in a military industrial complex driven country. Our main business, we don't really export that much stuff, right? We import everything. Our main export is war. Our main export is war. We some of it's high-tech munitions, but a lot of the munitions we get from other places. But It's really crazy situation that we have. We have an opportunity, our only real opportunity to fight back against this global cabal that we have, and it's really it's the banking cabal, because the reason why you can't control what's going on in Congress, and the reason why it doesn't matter what you do or what way that you vote, the people in Congress won't stop what's going on, is because the central bank has bypassed Congress. The central bank has bypassed the governments of pretty much every country in the world. And you see Milei over there in Argentina, and God bless him, he's doing some great stuff. You know, I know a lot of people think that he is what do they call it? Whatever opposition, and he might be, guys. He might be. You know, he's doing a lot of the right stuff. But they did allow him on stage, right? They allowed him on stage at the WEF, which controlled opposition. That's what it is. Controlled opposition. Controlled opposition is they keep everybody kind of a little bit happy, a little bit happy, and then they go from there. So I did want to touch though. Okay, so the way that we can fight back is with the money. So they're going to continue inflating the money. They have no choice but to continue inflating the money. They have no choice. They have to continue inflating the money because that's what they do. Taxes don't mean anything. The only reason you get taxed is to take the money from you. That's it. And take the money out of the system to bring inflation down. Otherwise, they just print the money. It really doesn't matter. And that's the system that they're on. So really the only way that we can fight back peacefully is to turn the money that the fiat money, the US dollars that we have, into different things, whether it's property, whether it's gold or silver, or whether it's real blockchains. And when I say real blockchains, I'm talking about Bitcoin, Litecoin, Global Boost. All right. And there's probably a few other ones there. You guys can ask me specifically what they are. I know those three are ruled by the code. I saw some funny stuff. Oh, you know, Satoshi is going to make more Bitcoins. He's going to decide after 21 million, there's going to be more Bitcoins. Well, I'll tell you what. First of all, it's going to be like a bunch of years from now. But second of all, if he does, it'll be a new coin. It'll be a fork, and there'll be a new coin. Okay.
Yeah.
Second of all, whether or not he's alive or not right now, he probably won't be alive then. Okay. It's
exactly
in the future. And it'd be the same way with Global Boost and the same way with Litecoin. If we were to create more coins, it would be a new coin. And the old coin, as we found out the hard way last year, will still continue. It will still continue. And that's part of what makes these things so powerful. So the way that we fight back, of course, with gold, it's with property, it's with real blockchain. So if you go to atcostmetal.clubs, you can sign up with our referral link. There's a $149 package there, or a $399 that includes some gold or silver, and that is one of the best ways to fight back. I mean, like gold. Go ahead.
Essentially, what has been happening is they're able to siphon the money away from the people, siphon it out of the people, and give it to the privatized small select people.
All they do is they mint more. So they mint more. So let's say you have $100. Okay, I explained it pretty well to the kids, and they got it. So if you have $100 and your neighbors don't have $100, okay, but then the bank says, okay, well, everybody needs $100 too, and you have 30 neighbors, and they give all your 30 neighbors $100, and so now instead of $100 in the neighborhood, there's $3,000 or whatever, if I did my math right, or 30,000, whatever it is. I'm on the fly here, and then all of a sudden your $100 is not as valuable. So the person that needs to work for that money, they're not interested so much in that $100. They can get that $100 from any of the 30 other people in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what's happening, and it's happening at such a high rate right now that you start to see the inflation just really going through the roof. It's absolutely crazy what's going on.
Yeah, big time. Pretty aggressive economy we've had over the last 2 decades.
It is. They have just been printing and printing and printing. So as most of you guys know, I'm a Trump guy. David, we're Trump guys. We've been Trump guys from the beginning. Trump, of course, comes on last night. He takes Vivek's lead and says, "Yeah, I will never allow CBDCs." Now, I will say this: the central bank is the central bank. The president does not control the central bank. That's one of the problems. But I'm glad he's saying it. Let's hear what he has to say.
And tonight, I'm also making another promise to protect Americans from government tyranny. As your president, I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. Do you know about that? Ooh. I didn't know you know so much. I'm very well, New Hampshire, very smart people, very current. You know what they're doing. Such a currency would give a federal government, our federal government, the absolute control over your money. They could take your money, you wouldn't even know it was gone. This would be a dangerous threat to freedom, and I will stop it from coming to America.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they got 4 years.
Well, that's exactly right. And the thing about the CBDCs is, again, guys, it's kind of like the boogeyman. You know, what they really don't want you to do is buy coins that they can't control, that they can't freeze, that they can't seize, that they can't take by court order. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Global Boost. Okay, that's what they don't want you to buy. They want you to go buy Solana, which they're going to pump to infinity. They're going to want you to buy XRP, which is a central banking coin. They're going to pump it to infinity. They want you to buy other coins that they can take at any given time. They can decide that you voted for the wrong person. They can decide that your social credit score is not right and take it. So the CBDCs is kind of like the boogeyman. It's already existing. Your money is already digital. 90% of US dollars are already digital. And we saw this over the years. You saw Alex Jones couldn't accept credit cards anymore on his site. You saw other people that got deplatformed, MasterCard, Visa. They didn't allow them to process transactions anymore. And whereas the CBDC might streamline that whole process is already there. The US dollar system is completely controlled by the central bank. It's issued by the central bank. It's you have the central bank that controls the rates and everything else. And the central bank in the US is the Federal Reserve, which sounds like it is a federal it sounds like it's a federal or a government organization, but it's not. They just called it the Federal Reserve in order to make you think that it is actually a government program, but it wasn't. It's actually the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the Morgan families started this a long time ago, back in the 1913, incidentally, maybe the same year that they started the IRS. It's funny, right? Started the IRS. It's just a very, very.
And the same year that they requested or demanded everybody turn in their gold and silver.
There you go. There you go. So the thing about, I will say the thing about Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Global Boost is that you actually don't have to physically hold it. The gold and silver, you have to physically hold. You need all three. You need cash, you need gold and silver, you need crypto, and you also need property. Okay. But this is a little bit of
Jekyll Island, where in 1910, representatives from the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Morgans, and other private bankers gathered secretly to draft the legislation that would create the Federal Reserve. I found it revealing that in the same year the Federal Reserve was founded, 1913, the Internal Revenue Service was also established. An income tax was then instigated so you and I would have to pay the politicians' debt plus interest to the bankers.
The problem is we have a privately owned central bank system in the United States disguised as a government-owned system. Now, if you look in the telephone book here in the Washington, D.C. area, you look up for Federal Reserve in the blue government pages, it's not there. It's in the white pages right next to Federal Express. It's a privately owned central bank.
Central banks are banking
cartels. And then I wanted to play this one as well. This talks about the executive orders and how things have been running on.
Do you like to see all the executive orders that have been put into place to take over our nation, to have complete control over us, to take away our rights, round us up, and put us where they want us? Here we go. Executive Order 10990 allows the government to take over all modes of transportation and control of all highways and seaports. Executive Order 10995 allows the government to seize and control the communication media. Executive Order 10997 allows the government to take over all electrical power, gas, petroleum, fuels, and minerals. Executive Order 10998 allows the government to seize all means of transportation, including personal cars, trucks, or vehicles of any kind, and total control over highways, seaports, and waterways. Executive Order 10999 allows the government to take over all food resources and farms. Executive Order 11000 allows the government to mobilize civilians into work brigades under government supervision. Executive Order 11001 allows the government to take over all health, education, and welfare functions. Executive Order 11002 designates the Postmaster General to operate a national registration of all persons. Executive Order 11003 allows the government to take over all airports and aircraft, including commercial aircraft. Executive Order 11004 allows the Housing and Finance Authority to relocate communities, build new housing with public funds, designate areas to be abandoned, and establish new locations for populations. Executive Order 11005 allows the government to take over railroads, inland waterways, and public storage facilities. Executive Order 11051 specifies the responsibility of the Office of Emergency Planning and gives authorization to put all executive orders into effect in times of increased international tensions and economic or financial crisis. Executive Order 11310 grants authority to the Department of Justice to enforce the plans set out in executive orders, to institute industrial support, to establish judicial and legislative liaison, to control all aliens, to operate penal and correctional institutions, and to advise and assist the President. Executive Order 11049 assigns emergency preparedness function to federal department and agencies, consolidating 21 operative executive orders issued over a 15-year period. Executive Order 11921 allows the Federal Emergency Preparedness Agency to develop plans to establish control over the mechanisms of production and distribution of energy sources, wages, salaries, credit, and the flow of money in U.S. financial institution in any undefined national emergency. It also provides that when a state of emergency is declared by the President, Congress cannot review the action for 6 months. The Federal Emergency Management Agency has broad powers in every aspect of the nation. General Frank Salzito, chief of FEMA's Civil Security Division, stated in a 1983 conference that he saw FEMA's role as a new frontier in the protection of individual and governmental leaders from assassination and of civil and military installations, from sabotage and or attack, as well as prevention of dissident groups from gaining access to U.S. opinion or a global audience in times of crisis. FEMA's powers were consolidated by President Carter to incorporate the National Security Act 1947 that allows for strategic relocation of industries, services, government, and other essential economic activities, and to rationalize the requirements for manpower, resources, and production facilities. The 1950 Defense Production Act gives the President sweeping powers over all aspects of the economy. The Act of August 29, 1916, authorizes the security of the Army in time of war, take possession of any transportation system from transporting troops, material, or any other purpose related to the emergency. The International Emergency Economic Powers Act enables the president to seize the property of a foreign country or national. These powers were transferred to FEMA in a sweeping consolidation in 1979.
FEMA.
A sweeping consolidation.
Sweeping consolidation. Remember all those FEMA camps they were making?
Oh yeah.
Craziness. Now, the thing about an executive order, and the one they didn't talk about there, was that the FBI was also made by an executive order. And I think we can all agree that the FBI is really out of control organization. There's a lot of great people in the FBI. I'm here in Washington, D.C., so of course I know a lot of people. And there's a lot of great men and women in the CIA and the FBI and these organizations. But as an organization, these are not working for the American people. They're not working as they should be. And I don't even know if they're working as I think they might be working as they were intended. So the FBI was started in 1908, I believe, by an executive order. And the first real thing that it did was take care of the dissidents that were against World War I. So it was always an internally facing spy agency, which really was never supposed to happen in our United States. So that was shortly after, of course, we had the 1864. We started a fiat currency. People don't know that a lot, but that's when a fiat currency started. 1900, we went on a gold standard. We call it legislatively. We decided to go on the gold standard. That lasted for a few years, not very long. They already 33 years later, they stopped it. But even before that, they were able to, do 1 to 10 and stuff like that. Backed by then after 1933, inflation just started skyrocketing, and you could still turn it in for gold. You could turn it in for gold or silver, but it wasn't at the same rate. It wasn't at the rate that you got it at. And then, of course, Nixon finished the blow. Back there, but these executive orders have been just absolutely a disaster. They've been a disaster.
Yeah, and completely numerous.
So many of them. And they're going to use this disease X. They're going to use disease X to really clamp down again. That's the plan. They're going to use this disease X. They're talking about it at the WEF, the World Economic Forum. Listen to them here. This was a panel today. They're talking about an agreement. Okay? And agreements are funny, right? Because, that's how, when we don't want to scare people, we don't call them contracts. We call them agreements. It's an agreement.
It sounds like an attack on Elon Musk, disease X.
Yeah, right? Did they do that on purpose? I don't know. But here's their panel. This is from the World Economic Forum today.
After we started putting a placeholder, the first that came was in the disease X is COVID. So we have experience now, and we are preparing based on that experience. A lot of assessment has been done by independent panels and experts, and based on the recommendation, many initiatives we have already started many initiatives. And then the other key, in order to have better prepared and to address the disease X, is the pandemic agreement. The pandemic agreement can bring all the experience, all the challenges that we have faced, and all the solutions into one. And that agreement can help us to prepare for the future in a better way, because this is about a common enemy. And without a shared response, starting from the preparedness, we will face the same problem as COVID. And deadline for the pandemic agreement is May 2024, and member states are negotiating. This is between countries, and I hope they will deliver this pandemic agreement by that time, on the deadline.
Yeah, I'm sure that is what he wants. Yeah, give it to us on our deadline. We want total control. Total control with DX. So with this disease X, I'll tell you what, I was traveling around the world. David and I were traveling around the world during COVID, and it was absolutely insane. first of all, empty planes, everything. That was the nice part about it, really. But these controls that they had over everything were just absolutely unbelievable what they were doing. And this is their new plan to try to take things over. Yeah, there was a bunch of funny stuff. So I wanted to play this. This is Alex Jones talking about disease. Yeah,
there it is.
The one and only.
The control reminded me of Alex always saying "Prison Planet."
Yeah, right.
Prison Planet. Like
he was the one, dude. He was warning us the whole time. He's been warning us for like 20 or 30 years. Here he is. The man, the myth, the legend.
The Davos group starts meeting in just a couple days. They've already got their operation going on a mountaintop.
A couple days ago,
so their staff and crew and people are already getting there in Switzerland. But they are the official mouthpiece of the UN, and last year officially merged with the UN at a National Security Council level. They're not on the National Security Council, but the UN Secretary General said policy will be decided on with them. And remember what Klaus Schwab says, we penetrate half the cabinets. We control half the governments of the world. And what is front and center on their agenda? Number one, they say disease X is imminent and is going to kill 20 times what COVID supposedly did. And then they give a number of 50 million. Now, what is disease X? That's a name for a disease never existed. And if you talk to the virologists, the experts, they say that's not known for hundreds of years. And most of the diseases that they have recently found, they find later in bodies they dig up, existed before. And it's very rare to find a new disease. So when you hear disease X, they mean the laboratory-made synthetic viruses gain-of-function operations. So now they are in a crescendo with corporate media, the UN, the WEF, Bill Gates, the New World Order saying that the release of a new virus is imminent and is going to happen. Now, they did this just months before they released COVID-19 that was made in a lab, that was 5 viruses combined, that did cause respiratory illnesses if you didn't have enough vitamin D, but they made it synthetic so they could own the vaccine response that they'd already made, and that all came out later. We'll be going over it again tonight. We have experts throughout the week joining us. But the end-to-end scanned it, others scanned it with their billion-dollar CRISPR machines and said back in February of 2020, this was made in a lab. And the media tried to poo-poo it, but later admitted, no, it was made in a lab. Not out of some bat cave or some wet market grocery store where they sell live animals. Didn't come from a turtle or a bat or anything, or a porcupine. So they're running the same propaganda they ran, but even more intensely before they released it last time. And Fauci bragged, Trump will soon be challenged by a novel virus. They said, we're going to blow up the old regulatory system of actually testing things. And once this new virus comes out, he said in 2018 and 19, we will use it to then roll out all these new Frankenshots that aren't even classical vaccines that are DNA reprogramming systems. We pointed that out 4 years ago. That's what it was. They said, no, you're lying. Now I've got newscast with the UN, with the WHO saying, yes, we're now going to change your DNA with these new shots. There'll be no approval. We're just going to make you take it. They have legislation introduced to the Congress for, quote, disease X. So when you hear disease X, that means the gain of function, the manipulation of viruses, splicing different families of viruses together, taking viruses that are only in animals and making them where they can jump into humans, making them where they're more airborne, where they're more communicable. There's been very little corporate media coverage of the hearings the last few years of Fauci admitting all of this is going on, trying to deny its gain of function, but saying, yeah, we soup up viruses. Now, we just put an image on screen from the early 1990s. That's a real video. If you're a TV viewer, it's a mouse with a giant human ear growing on its back, a third the size of its whole body. Now, that was done in the 70s, declassified in 1990. I've covered that mouse story probably 400 times or more, probably 500 times. The reason that's important is, now listen to me carefully. We're about to do the deep dive on disease X. They took humanized mice, the US government, the Chinese government, the Australian government, the British government, this is all admitted, put human genes into them so they respond just like humans. So it's like you're testing on a human. Same effect. And have got a 100% kill rate with the viruses they've cooked up. So when you see Bill Gates laughing and smirking and saying, look, if you didn't like COVID, something a lot worse is coming, he, and you'll stay locked down, you'll behave yourself when the new virus comes. We have Klaus Schwab saying this. We have his daughter, who's on the board of the WEF. We've got her saying it. I've got the receipts, overhead shot. You see these 3 stacks right here? Excuse me, 4 stacks? There's his daughter saying it. I got Klaus Schwab saying it too. Right there in that stack. Look at all these other stacks. And guess who else I have? I have undoubtedly the most popular, loved online doctor in the world. He gets hundreds of millions of views a week. And until now, they weren't censoring him. Now they are. They took this video off YouTube. Dr. John Campbell out of the UK. Very respected. And he basically comes out, well, he didn't come out, he came out and said, clearly they're engineering this. Clearly they're releasing it to take control of society. It's all illegal, it's gain of function. And when you hear disease X, they're talking about diseases that don't exist because they are making them. Ladies and gentlemen. And the WEF says, prepare, it's imminent. It's all about to happen right as the UN tries to ram through their treaty.
Man, he is the big guy himself, Alex Jones.
Right.
Now, just for YouTube, I want to say that we're not saying all that stuff. We're talking about Alex Jones saying it, okay? Which is exactly true. We're talking about Alex Jones saying it.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy stuff, and you see a lot of bunkers are on the news, being built here and there. I think, is it true that Joe Biden has one being built, and the other guy?
Man, all these guys, they're building their bunkers.
They're fresh. They haven't been thinking about it 10 years ago, and now they're preparing for something. It seems so. I'm happy to help support not letting anything bad happen.
Yes. Well, these are crazy times, guys, and we need to work together. We need to fight back. The way that we can fight back, is with the monetary revolution. The people that are running the country are being able to run it. They're able to run it because they're able to mint as much money as they want. They're able to mint and print as much money as they want, and that takes it from you because it takes the value of the money that you have.
Yeah. And they've done a good job at kind of trapping people into that system. But now that we have a source of transferring code around, we're able to utilize different mobilities of networking and stuff like that.
It's true. We will be unveiling as well our booster application here over the next 30 days. I think leading up into CPAC, we're pretty excited about it. Global Boost, check it out. Get some if you want, get some trade some Global Boost coins. Join at Cost Metals at costmetals.club. Use the referral link club. You can go to .com if you want. Check that out. Get involved today, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. David, thanks for joining. Everybody, thanks for joining. See you in the morning.
Thank you, Bruce. Have a great time today.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.